The Local Show, sponsored by Victory in Motion, home of knee repair, not knee replacement, on News Radio 570 WSYR, on 106.9 FM, and live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. The Local Show features in-depth conversation with business owners, employees, and influential business leaders throughout Central New York, exploring their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in our growing community. The Local Show is produced locally by Zoe Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Steve has made it to hour number 2.
I just sit here, Tom. You do all the work. Let's be clear. I'm along for the ride, buddy.
Well, I try. Sometimes it comes out good, and sometimes it just comes out.
Yes, indeed.
That's what I say about the dog. Joe Stanley's here right now, founding partner of the Stanley Law Offices. How are you there, Joe?
Has everyone gone to the dog?
Yeah, everyone's gone to the dog. I tell you, we got this puppy that loves to nip, and so she'll latch onto my jeans when I'm taking her out for a walk, and I'm like, just go potty. Yeah. Stop biting on me. You know, it's crazy. Tell me, we were talking off air a little bit. We were talking about some patents and things like that. Is being a patent lawyer a whole separate world?
Yes. Yeah, that is a separate. You have to take special certification. Essentially, you have to be an engineer to do it.
No kidding.
It's an incredible amount of training and skill. Yes, to be a patent lawyer, it's a total different track. And they certainly have a great career if you get into that. But really, it requires. just to do it, you have to understand the subtle differences between all of these claims
right.
And even these days with all these sophisticated digital and AI applications that may or may not be the same.
Good
so
golly.
You have to have a massive understanding because you can't argue about them unless you do.
But don't they get, I've heard that China will take the things anyway and reproduce it, and so much for your stinking patent.
Well, whether your patent's honored in other places, that's always a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been a problem with commerce if the laws are not reciprocally enforced, because you can trade, but if you don't have a uniform court system,
right,
then there's no enforcement mechanism. I sell you something, but you don't pay me, and then I can't collect on it. And that's why. Go back 1,000 years, there was always some kind of enforcement mechanism. The Romans had it, the Chinese had it. Because there's no trade unless there's a method for resolving disputes.
Right.
And it doesn't involve shooting,
right.
killing or whatever. And so, that's how commerce is built, by a uniform set of rules that are enforced, whatever they are.
You were talking technology a minute ago with the patent attorneys. Has technology changed personal injury law in the way you do it, or the way you research it, or the way you go to court? Have things changed in the last 20, 30 years?
Well, things have changed tremendously.
But legally, I guess.
Has the law caught up with it? Well, has the law caught up with the changes in technology? The answer is no, because the law is notoriously slow. They're trying to, but in terms of how we do things, certainly everything has changed. In fact, before the pandemic, remote work and remote depositions and remote contacts with clients were almost non-existent, and now they're a regular occurrence. In fact, the younger generation doesn't want to. Part of the problem is I don't think they want to do everything remote.
Right. Yeah.
Whether that's a good or a bad thing, my personal opinion is if you're going to take testimony of someone involved in a lawsuit, you want to see them eye to eye, and that there's no comparing what you do on Zoom or what you can do digitally than being there in person.
Yeah.
And so there's efficiencies. There are ways that the digital world has changed and made things much better and faster, and hopefully makes everyone more efficient, from the handling of medical records, from the processing of all of the information that we need to get in terms of having lawsuits go forward. The technology is marvelous.
So here's a question for you regarding technology. I know that when you set up your iPhone, or if you're an Android person, you're setting up the latest phone, you're check marking things that you have no clue of why you're check marking them. So it really is tracking your location. It's doing all sorts of stuff. How often now, when somebody's in an accident, do you audit the phones, or can you audit the phones?
Good question.
You can and do. I mean, one of those things, first of all, your car, new cars follow you around.
Oh, that's true too.
An incredible amount of information now in the last 5 years. What is available, in fact, in the newer cars, you can figure out everything you have been doing in that car.
Yeah.
And then your phone, as soon as you add your phone to your car, all of that data, the GPS, all the other information that is contained in your phone is going to be immediately accessible. People don't realize if you add your phone to your rent-a-car, a lot of times that information is contained in the car, and somebody else might obtain that information.
Yeah.
So it's there. It's an incredible amount of information, just like CCTVs.
Right.
That's one of the first things we do is we send our investigator out to collect CCTV information.
Oh, no kidding.
Because a picture can solve a lot of disputes.
So would you say that an average person should have a dash cam in their car to protect themselves?
Well, I mean, if you want to, sure. Yeah. I mean, does it protect you? Or does it make you more bold? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, someone brake checks you. Someone gets in front and slams their brakes on. Well, you hit from behind, so you're liable. Well, if there was a video that showed how ridiculous it was, wouldn't that make a difference?
If it does, and if it did,
okay, fair.
But a lot of the times, though, the video isn't going to help you, and that's the other part of it. Some of the times it will, and some of the times it won't, and you will be asked to produce it, whether it's your fault or not.
Okay.
So yes, you can. Does it protect you? It's not doing anything other than showing the events.
Correct.
Okay. So depending on how, what, where, and when, it can protect you or not.
Right.
And so, if you want a picture of everything you do, you should have a big dash cam in your car and an ongoing video in your house and an ongoing video
it's a little crazy. It's a little
outside of your house, and then you will have everything recorded, and you won't have to worry about having to figure out what really happened.
Well, that's a good point, because it may show that it was your fault. That's your point, right?
Well, many times it does.
Oh, okay.
And the answer is that if you don't produce it and you had it, then you are in a big problem, because why aren't you producing it? Because it doesn't show something that's favorable.
If you had to give a 30-second elevator speech on all the services that Stanley Law offers, where would you start? Where would you end? What services exactly could people call you for?
Well, we do personal injury. Anybody who's been hurt and suffered a physical injury in any kind of an incident that somebody else was at fault.
And that could be a slip and fall as well as a car?
Car accident, construction accidents,
Gotcha.
Products liability. And then, another major focus, we handle anybody who's got a work injury, which may or may not also include a personal injury claim. But, that's a significant portion of workplace injuries, and people really need representation for that a lot of the times, because that system is not as simple as one think. And then interrelated with all of them, all of these three are interrelated to Social Security disability, because if you're hurt bad enough, then you need to make a claim for that, because for a lot of people, that is the only long-term disability that exists. They don't have their own private insurance policies, and the state, other than unemployment or New York State disability, it's only 26 weeks.
StanleyLawOffices.com, or you can give them a call, 800-608, and then what do I say, Tom? A whole bunch of threes. The 315-608, a whole bunch of 333, StanleyLawOffices.com. Thanks for joining us, Joe.
Stay safe.